I'm here to tell you all about ChatGPT 5. And no, that is not just clickbait. We actually have real news on it. So, Sam Altman published a blog post a couple of hours ago that lays out his personal vision or roadmap for where they're going next. And yes, it includes talk of GPT-5. It includes what they call internally Orion, which got leaked all over the internet in the fall and then never materialized. Let me tell you about it. Net, what Sam wanted to emphasize in his blog post is that he has become very concerned about the number of models in the dropdown and how complex they are to use. Just to give you a couple examples, if I hit my dropdown now in the ChatGPT app, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 models that are visible and more models hiding in a caret plus a temporary chat icon. That's too many. Like if you can see 4.0 with scheduled tasks, O1, O3 mini, O3 mini high, O1 pro mode. And by the way, none of those is operator. None of those is deep research. I have to go to chatgpt.com to use deep research. I can't even use the app right now, even though the results appear in the app. It's a very, very confused experience. And so Sam is basically saying this is not what we want the magic of intelligence to be. It should not be this ridiculously complex picker where you don't even know what the heck you're picking. And so what he said was they are going to release Orion or GPT 4.5. It is supposed to be very good, but it is not a reasoning model, which means it doesn't use inference time compute. And I want to be really precise about this because people are kind of equating the cheaper, more widely available reasoning models with deep inference reasoning models. And I think that we need to get better at naming. You have models like GPT 4.0 right now, or Claude, that just come back with something very quickly. You also have models that claim to be thinking models, but that do not think for minutes at a time. They think for under 60 seconds generally. I would argue that the flash thinking model from Google is a good example. I think DeepSeek is a good example. There's a number of other examples as well. And then you have models in a third class that think for more than 60 seconds at a time and do deep inference. O1 Pro is a great example there. There aren't a lot of other examples, and it's unfortunate that O1 Pro is not more widely available because I think if people used it, they would understand there is that third class, and the results are definitely different and meaningfully better if you give the model that much time. I think the closest that people are starting to see is when they're starting to see deep research and starting to see the results of deep research published on the internet. Deep research is another thinking model. It takes a very long time to infer and come up with something, but it's very compelling report, and that's leaking all over the internet now, and people are seeing the results and are rightly amazed. So we have at least three classes of model. People are generally conflating them into two. I think that's not helpful. And what Sam is saying is 4.5 or Orion is really in that first class. It's a fast response model. It's just very, very good. Now, that being said, he has made it clear that that is the last model that they are going to release as a separate model. It will be named 4.5 probably, and it will appear in the UI, and that will be that. Since he gave a hint previously, it would be during the winter. I think that gives him about 1 more month to release it. And then he says he's moving on. What is he moving to? ChatGPT 5. So he's keeping the GPT branding, but every other capability they have built is getting wrapped under that name, label, and brand, which is a good branding decision. ChatGPT 5 will have deep research. ChatGPT 5 will have operator mode. ChatGPT 5 can think for minutes at a time or think for a second. It will decide, and it will decide based on the task that you give it. As someone on Twitter said very snarkily, ChatGPT is the friends we made along the way. Basically, it's all these models along the way, and we bring them together and we wrap them into one clean consumer bow so the consumer can use them. Now, that all depends on a lot of really smart interpretation of user intent. So we will have to see how well they do at that. History suggests they're going to do pretty well. And in terms of timing, he didn't give a time, but I'm strongly expecting GPT-5 to come out probably before the fall, if I had to guess, given their pace. They've been doing major releases every 2 or 3 months, so I would expect sometime in the summer is my current guess. And that is a guess. I do not have private unknowable information. It's just a guess. So there you go. That's what we know about the roadmap. I am glad they're making the effort, but I do have a fairly big question around O3 because we were promised O3. We were promised O3 Pro. I don't know where that is now. I don't know where it is. So we will just have to see. It may get wrapped in as GPT-5, and we just have to tolerate that. I thought we were on a slightly faster time frame with it, but maybe what Sam felt is that at the end of the day, it's too complicated for people to add yet another number and model, and so he decided to change it. One more tidbit for you. This is not about Sam Altman. It's not about OpenAI. I just learned this. The owners of AI.com, which currently redirects to DeepSeek, it's not DeepSeek. I thought it was DeepSeek. It's pardonable that I think it's DeepSeek because it goes to DeepSeek, so I thought DeepSeek bought it. That's normally how domains work, but no. It's apparently a for-profit separate entity run out of Malaysia. And someone bought that domain back in 1993. I wish I'd bought that domain back in 1993. And they now make a mint renting the domain to whoever pays them. And it appears that DeepSeek is currently using some of their 5.5 million or whatever they use to train the model to buy access or redirects from AI.com to DeepSeek. So it's just a tidbit. I have nothing more to follow up on other than the internet is weird and you can make money in lots of ways. And someone has figured out of Malaysia how to rent AI.com for what is presumably a pretty penny. I am sure it is not cheap to do that. So there you go. That's your tidbit. Lots more on GPT-5. Hope you enjoyed it.